Hey guys, hope you guys are doing well. Today on the video we're talking about Taylor Swift and her talents as a storyteller. I'm going to be talking heavily about her new album that dropped yesterday called Folklore, but this isn't necessarily an album review. This is more of an in-depth writer study of her as a songwriter, storyteller, artist. I think we've known her songwriting capabilities for a while, like on tracks like Love Story and Mine and You Belong With Me, as well as All Too Well, which in my opinion is the best Taylor Swift song ever. And from start to finish, she characterizes a whole relationship, the beginning of it, the high parts, the low parts, and then the eventual end of it, all in a 5-minute song. I think it's brilliant, and the way she does it, the melodic structure and the voicings of it all, obviously she's one of the better singers in the industry right now, but the way she actually makes you feel the high points and the low points of the entire relationship, genius. Love it. Their characters in those songs are no different than the Wendy and Bruce character in Born to Run, or the Gina and Tommy character in Living on a Prayer by Bon Jovi. These are iconic characters with iconic storylines that hook you and keep you invested. That's no small feat for a songwriter. But what Taylor Swift has managed to do in Folklore is double down on those skills and present a variety of different stories and different takes on folk culture. Each song has a cohesive story within it, and some songs extend their limits and bleed into other songs and create a whole narrative. I think the standout song for me that really represents this idea of beautiful storytelling is just a song called The Last Great American Dynasty. In that song, she talks about her previous homeowner, Rebecca, and the life that she lived, being a widowed, millionaire-centric person who basically lived out her adolescent young life all the way up to her, middle-aged, partying, enjoying her life, enjoying the money that she's acquired, and living it up, basically. And how society looked at that and pointed their fingers at it and was like, ugh, why are you doing that? That's not how women are supposed to behave. And then that's all good, and that's very powerful story writing, but near the bridge where the climax happens, she flips the switch, and that whole detailed song that you've been invested in, the whole character of Rebecca, she owns it, and she basically projects Rebecca's entire life onto her, and then she switches the third person narrative straight to first person after that bridge. And then the chorus, and I think there's a small verse in a chorus that's all first person. She takes all the responsibility of that life onto her and says, well, things haven't really changed since Rebecca. People still point fingers at me. People still, are annoyed when I'm having fun, and they have things to say and opinions about that, which she could frankly not care less about. I think that's beautiful and poignant storytelling. It's the best form of this. It's very rare to see a pop artist do that. She also has very, very powerful imagery in her songs. Songs like August, for example, start with salt air and the rust on your door. I never needed anything more. Immediately you're hooked. You know where the whereabouts of the song is taking place. Salt air usually means by the ocean side. Rust on your door is because, doors get rusty. Metal doors get rusty quicker when you're living near the water. Another great example of really powerful imagery, stuff that you can relate to as a common person, was in the song Invisible Strings, where she talks about multiple incidences that seemed irrelevant at the time that blend into her meeting the person that she falls in love with, and then the song comes back to where it starts at the end with Centennial Park. And I think that's so beautiful. That place becomes a character in the story. She does that very beautifully in a track called Cornelia Street from her previous album. She really makes you feel like you've lived on Cornelia Street. And that's a very strong suit in a songwriter. If you're able to convey that sort of imagery to the person that's listening to it, you've won. Her grip on conversation is also very strong. She does that a few times her grip on conversational storytelling is also very strong. She's done that a few times before in songs like The Last Time with Gary Lightbody, where she has a conversation with his character and her character. She does that almost expertly in this album on a track called Exile with Bon Iver. And that song, it's basically the last conversation that a person would have with their partner as they're saying goodbye. Like, there's a line in that song that I completely am in love with. Second, third, and 100 chances, balancing on breaking branches. Those eyes add insult to injury. it's beautiful. Insult to injury is such a common statement that everybody says, but the way she incorporated it in that song took my breath away. It was a ooh moment for me. I was like, this is how you paint a picture with words and melody and structure. Outstanding work. And then to top it all off, she has a 3-way story arc in the album, a love triangle between 3 people in the songs Cardigan, Betty, and August. Like, those are 3 songs from 3 different perspectives telling the same story. It's not like she's treading on new paths. This has been done before. Concept albums by the Lumineers are complete conversations and story arcs and all that. They've been done before, but just seeing Taylor Swift step into that pond and embrace it for herself, it's amazing. Folklore to me is already a masterpiece. Like, the storytelling, the imagery, the mood, the vibe that Taylor Swift brings with that album, it's great. And it stands next to Nebraska by Bruce Springsteen, or Ghost Stories by Coldplay, or even Born and Raised by John Mayer. Those are stoic albums by amazing artists trying to show their craft. And if anybody had a doubt about Taylor Swift and thought that she was only this pop-centric bubblegum pop radio hit machine, this is a reply to that. And I love it. I hope she moves towards more of this music, because I am completely in love with all 16 or 17 tracks on Folklore. That's it for me on this side. I really enjoyed listening to this album. I really enjoyed going deeper into Taylor Swift's discography and finding those gems, because she has a lot of them. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, join the community. Let's have a conversation about this. I'd love to talk about it more. That being said, I'm gonna go listen to Folklore. Nazar out.